Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel C Programming Easy Language. Here I'll continue teaching you how to write programs in C language. I'm Naveen Mishra and let's start with from where we left previously in the videos. In previous video I have told you about control flow statements for if else and switch case. Now let's start with the next topic, that are loops. So what are loops or iterations? Sometimes we may want to execute a group of statements more than once. In such cases, we can use loops. Simply saying, let's say I want to print a message hello world 100 times. So instead of writing printf 100 times, I can put it inside a loop by making sure that it runs 100 times. Okay, so let's hear about the loops. So as I told you earlier, are used to execute group of statements more than once. For example, I have told you to print hello world message 100 times. You can print the counting from 1 to 10 as well using loops. Now in programming, in C language or C++ language, there are three types of loop: for loop, while loop and do while loop. To perform the iterations, you can use any one of these loops. It is based on a programmer's choice that which loop the programmer prefers. Generally I prefer for loop, some prefer while loop, and similarly some can prefer do while loop. So the same task can be performed by any of these loops. Okay, while performing loop or while implementing a loop, you must have three parts inside a loop. These three parts of loop are the basis on which the for loop executes. So let's hear about these three parts. Now first of all, you have to know from where you want to start the loop. For example, you want to start the counting from 1 to 10, so your start point will be I equals to 1. Generally, to implement the loops, I variable is used. There is no hard and fast rule. You can pick any variable with a, with n, with x, with j, but generally as iterations initial I is used for looping variables. Okay, so first part is initialization, where you will put I equals to 0 or I equals to 10 or I equals to n. As I told you, as I have written here, I is equals to 100, I is equals to n minus 1. So whatever your variable you are using for a loop must have a starting, which is setting a value of this I value will be the initialization. Only then you can start with the condition, that is end of the loop. You must know where to stop the loop. The end of the loop is written in condition, and if the condition results true, the loop block of statements will execute. So the condition is placed. If the condition is true, the block will be executed, otherwise the loop stops. So from, let's say I is equals to 0, you want to go to 10, so I less than equals to 10. From 10 to 100, you can say I less than equals to 100. From n to 1, you can say I greater than equals to 1. From 100 to 10, you can say I greater than equals to 10 and I greater than equals to 0. So putting a condition is also a part of the loop. So this is the beginning and this is the end. Let's say for 1 to 100, I'll say I equals to 1, and to 100, I'll say I less than equals to 100. The next step is how you want to move from the beginning to the end of the loop. That is how many steps you want to move. For example, to go from 1 to 100, you can increment value one by one, that is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Or you can increment by 2, that is 1, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 9. You can increment by 10, 1, then 10, then 20, then 30, and so on. So this decides the number of steps you want to move, is called the increment or decrement part of the loop. So your loop must have three parts: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement part. Now how does it look like? Like this one. So I plus plus, from 1 to 10 you can keep on incrementing. From 10 to 1 you can keep on decrementing. You can go plus 2. You can also perform division by 10, and you can also perform multiplication by 10. But make sure that this increment or decrement part, or this part, makes you closer to the end of the loop. For example, you are starting from 10. This part will be such that it goes nearer to 100. Let's say 10 to 100. Then this part should be such that you go from the beginning to the end nearer at every step. Okay. Now let's more about the for loop. Now it is easy to use according to me, because all the three parts of a loop are written in one line. Okay, so that's why I prefer for loop. The for loop must have two semicolons inside its round brackets, that is this part. Okay, the whatever you want to execute in a loop must be placed inside these curly braces, which will be called the block of statements. So the syntax of the loop for loop looks like this one. For bracket start, initialize, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement part, whatever you want to do here. Bracket closes, then followed by the block of statements that you want to execute. From this to this part keep on executing until you reach this point, and to move from this point to this part is used. Okay, now for example, I want to print a message from 1 to 10, so I can say for I is equals to 1, I less than equals to 10, I plus plus, inside the curly braces I have printed the value of I. So how the loop will work? First of all, I is set to 1, then condition is tested, 1 is less than equals to 10, true. If true, execute the block, so I will be printed, then goes with increment decrement part, I plus plus, that is 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then again check the condition, 2 less than equals to 10 is true, again go the execute the loop, that is print 2, then go to increment part, I3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, when the I value becomes 11. Now 11 is not less than equals to 10, so the loop stops and we move out of the for loop. Okay, so this is the for loop usage. Now let's see what kind of mistakes some student does and how the loop should look like. You can start a simple loop from 1 to 10. You can have a reverse loop from 10 to 1. So let's see these. So first of all, this is a simple loop that I have explained you earlier, like I is equals to 1, I less than equals to 10, I plus plus, I loop keep on incrementing. So this is a simple loop. It works perfectly. Now the reverse loop. I want to print a value from 10 to 1. So I'll start with I is equals to 10. And the condition will be I greater than equals to 1. And I'll print I minus minus. So first of all 10 will be printed. Then 10 minus 1, 9. 9 is greater than equals to 1. So 9 will be printed. Then 9 minus 1, 8. 8 is greater than equals to 1. And so on. So this is a reverse loop from 10 to 1. Now sometimes this part is placed inside the infinite loop. So this is an infinite loop. Basically in some interviews of programming, such situations, such problems are given to the candidates. So simply for loop just only requires two semicolon inside its round brackets, nothing else, but it will be an infinite loop. Your program will not stop printing high, but at some stages you need this infinite loop. So this is also right if the user know what they are doing exactly. Okay, now you see here, I have told you here that you should not place a semicolon in the for loop, but what if I place a semicolon here? So I have created a loop in which I have intentionally put a semicolon to show you what it will do. So if the semicolon is placed here, this will not be your part of the loop. So 17th, 18th and 19th line are not part of the loop, as the loop ends at the 16th line because of this semicolon. So there will not be any syntax error. The loop executes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 comes, the loop stops and 11 is printed here. So you should not do it, avoid it. Sometimes students never sees properly that there is a semicolon placed, so avoid it. Okay, now let's see the next part. I is equals to 1, I less than equals to 10, I minus minus. So I is equals to 1, okay, 1 less than equals to 10, fine, so 1 will be printed. 1 minus 1, 0, 0 less than equals to 10, true, 0 will be printed. Then minus 1, then minus 2, then minus 3. You will not be, the loop or the value of I will not be set to 10 at any stage because of this I minus minus. So this will be an infinite loop and it should be avoided. Okay, be aware of these things, that you put your conditions, initializations and increment decrement by properly and checking it exactly. Okay, now this is the loop. So I is equals to 10, I greater than equals to 1, less than equals to 1, sorry. So this 10 is not less than equals to 1, so your loop will not be printed at all. This is also a problem, as the condition is false, loop will not execute at all. So make sure that these problems These situations do not occur in your loop programs. These parts are the fine, these parts are fine, this can be implemented, this is wrong, you should avoid it. Okay, now let's see a program where I want to print all the odd numbers between 1 to 100. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 and so on. Now to print the odd numbers I have to start from 1. Since I have told you I want to go till 100, so my condition is I less than equals to 100, and I'll keep on printing I. But it is not a simple loop, that is the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, that is gap of 2. So I have incremented my I value with 2, so I equals to I plus 2 is then keep on printing 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 2 7, and my odd numbers will be printed here. Okay, now let's see another program to print all the even numbers. Now I can use the same logic, but what I have to do is I have to start from 0 or 2. If I start from 0, then 0 plus 2 2, 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 8, this will work. Or I can start from 2, 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6 and so on. So this is my program to print all the even numbers between 1 to 100. Okay, so these are the simple examples that I have shown you to tell you how the loops are working. Now let's see some practices of for loop. Okay, so these are the programs that we have to do. You can do it as a practice. I'll write 2 or 3 programs for you guys so that you can understand how the loops are working. Okay, so let's start. First of all, write the program to print the table of given number. So I'll start with header files hash include stdio.h, then main function, return 0. Now I'll start declaring my variable here. So first of all I have to divide my program into 3 parts. So I have to read the value of input first of all. So the input is a given number, so I'll declare a variable in 10, and then I'll say printf enter any number, and I'll scanf it, scanf %d comma ampersand n is used. So the input part is done here. So this is my input part, right? Now I have to think that how I should implement the table. So I have to think about how to multiply the variable continuously up to 10. So definitely I have to implement a loop. So I'll say I'll start a for loop. I will start from 1 and I is less than equals to 10. Since if you print any table like 5 multiply 1 equals to 5, 5 multiply 2 equals to 10, it goes up to 10. So irrespective of the number passed by the user, like 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 10, 15, the table of which they want to get printed, the loop will start from 1 and goes to 10. Okay, what I'll do, I'll have another variable result, and n multiply by I will be used. So I need another variable result, and I will print this value in the loop because I have to print the message again and again. So printf /n %d comma result is my answer. Okay, let me save the program first, table.c. Now initially let's say n is 5 and I is 1, so 5 multiply 1 equals to 5, 5 will be printed. Then I is incremented by 1, that is 2, 2 is less than equals to 10, true, so 5 multiplied by 2, 10, result is 10, and 10 will be printed, and so on. Let's see if the program works properly. So 5, yeah, this is a message, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 45. Now what if I want to print my message something like this: 5 multiply 1 equals to 5, and 5 multiplied by 2 equals to 10, and so on up to 5 multiplied by 10 equals to 50. So let's see how I'll do this. Now you see my program is working fine and I have printed the message 5, 10, 15, 20, but now I want to change my message to 5 multiplied by 1 equals to 5. So I have to print 2 more variables, %d that will represent n for 5, then the symbol of multiply, and then again %d, that will print I, so comma I, and then I'll say equals to. Okay, so I think this should work. Compile and run. Let's say 6, and the table of 6 is printed here. So this program works perfectly. Now let's start with some other program. I'll save my typing work, so I'll copy some code from here into new file, and I'll save it with Factorial. The factorial of the number is like, let me change the message here. So the factorial is like, if I say 5, factorial is 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, that will result in 120. Okay, and if I say 3 factorial, then it says 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1 equals to 6. And if I say 0 factorial, then by default it is set to 1, and if I put any negative value, then its factorial will not work, not possible. Okay, so I want to implement this. Let me make them comment first. Okay, so I want to implement it. Now first of all, I have to read the value of n from the user, so definitely I need this lines as it is, so I will keep on them. I'll keep on as it is. Now to implement this thing, I have to start my loop from reverse, like 5 to 1 or 3 to 1. But you know as that multiplications are commutative, that is 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 will result same as of 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. So it will also produce 6. So I don't have to worry that I have to start my loop in the reverse order. I'll start from 1. I'll go up to n, whatever number is passed by the user. Let's see, if the number is 3, then I'll continue to 3. If the number is 5, then I'll continue to 5, like 4 into 5. Okay, so this loop is also works fine. Now how would I do this? I cannot do n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 multiplied by n minus 3, because I will never know how what is the number passed by the user at input. So I'll use a trick. I'll need a f variable whose value is set to 1, and I'll say f is equals to f multiplied by I. So how it should work now? Initially f equals to 1 and I equals to 1. Now both are multiplied and the answer is stored back in f, so f is set to 1. And next time I will be incremented by 1, 2, then I will multiply both of them, so f will set 2. I will be incremented by 3, so 2 into 3, f is set to 2, 2 into 3, then f will be 6. Alright, then I incremented by 1 again, so I will be 4, and 6 into 4, f is equals to 24. Then if I incremented by again 5, then by 5, then f is equals to 120. And I will be set to 6. Now for if my number is 5, this loop will execute, and at the end of this loop my f will be 120, and this condition is false here, like I less than equals to n becomes false, 5 n is not less than equals to 6, and so my loop will stop here. Okay, so this will be the part of my logic as well, and I'll print this number here. So I'll say factorial of the number is, I'll say, okay, and let me save the program first. The program is already saved. Now let's say my number is 5. Factorial of 5 equals to 120. My program works absolutely fine. Now do not do this. You cannot set f equals to 0, because anything you multiply by 0 will result in 0. So if you compile your program and you put any value, your answer will be 0. So you cannot set f equals to 0. And same here, you cannot set I equals to 0 as well, because of the same concept. It will be multiplied by 0, and whatever number you multiply by 0 will always remain 0. So you cannot start your factorial loop with 0, and you cannot have your f value set to 0. Now I have printed message here. I have not placed it inside the loop because the answer is printed only once. If you do that, then the answer will be printed every time the loop executes. So something like this, by 1, then 2, then 6, then 24, then 22, 120. As I explained you here, 1, 2, 4, 6, 24, 120, these will be printed. But I want my message at the end only once, so I'll put this thing at the end of the, okay. So there you go. My programs run perfectly like this. Now for the negative variables, what I can do is I can put it another if, put it inside a if. If n is less than 0, then I'll printf factorial of negative numbers are not allowed. Okay, and else if n equals to 0 for 0, I'll say printf factorial of 0 is 1, and then I'll start my else part, and I can put everything inside the else part. Okay, so I can cover my other basics as well. Okay, now let's see this thing. If I say -8, it says not possible, and if I say 0, the answer is 1, and if I say 5, my answer is 120. So this is your program of factorial. You guys can do rest of the programs by yourself. Okay, so these are the programs that you can do it by yourself. Okay, so I have done first two programs for you guys: Fibonacci series, prime number, reverse, palindrome, and Armstrong. You guys can do it by yourself for the practices of for the for loop. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching my videos. Keep on liking and sharing my videos, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel Easy Programming. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.